Welcome everyone. What a great night it is. We're here to celebrate Greg, the best in the biz. Old Greg has now turned 60, but he's still looking pretty young. In fact, I only told him earlier he doesn't look a day over 61.
When we asked Dad, what can we do to honour you this day, much like Martin Luther King, I have a dream, we heard him say, that one day someone will take my life and spread it on the stage.
You say, take my wife.
That they will write a musical that jumps right off the page. They'll tell the story of my life. All the tales, it will be beautiful. So ladies and gentlemen, I slowly present to you Greg Mcnally, the musical. All right, ladies. I think it's time.
They even spelled it right.
Now I'm thinking that Dad might be in the womb at this stage. Hello, Mum. I'm in your tum. And I've been patiently waiting 9 months. It's me, Greg, your son. And my birthday's finally come along.
Hello, Mum. I'm finally here. The contractions are getting nearer and near. So call the doctor. It's time to push. And I'm sorry for the pain in your caboose. So here I come. It's nice to meet you, Mum. And Dad, you look so glad.
Trevor, that's it.
Oh, I heard you wanted a son who's a genius. I've nailed the first part. I've grown myself a
I don't know what she could have possibly rhymed with that, but I think we might take you through his schooling years. So Liz, why don't you kick us off?
Greg's born to Doug and Grace. He's the second out of 4. Once they saw how he behaved, they begged, "Dear God, no more." Greg lived a happy life in the suburb of Bankstown and always thanked his mum and dad for giving him that background. Because by the time Greg went to school, he knew when to have fun. And yes, he learnt the hard way not to do it near a nun. They smacked him on the butt when he would talk back, but instead of shutting his mouth, chatty Greg would get a smack.
And I loved it.
Off to high school soon he went, where he played the girls and dames. Just a sec, I've read that wrong. It says where he played some games. Our Greg was good at marbles and landing cards up on a shelf. When I asked him who he'd beaten, he'd said, "Oh, I've just played with myself." But don't feel too sorry for him, because when he went off to Sydney Uni, he was once stopped in the corridor and asked, "Hey, are you George Clooney?" Now, that might be a lie to a certain degree, but what wasn't a lie was when Greg said, "It's a lawyer's life for me."
Oh, look, it's Mark Fayer.
Stepped at the door, he was finally here, happy as ever, grin ear to ear. Knew the degree would not just appear, needed to study a couple of years. He was a good boy, he went to class, picked up the books, he was learning fast. Knew he was good at getting some laughs, bad with the ladies, they never laughed. He loved at studying law, when he talked to girls, he'd study the floor. Greg joined up for cricket, spot on the team. This was the life, he was living the dream. Get sidetracked, you know what I mean. Had to stay hungry, had to stay keen. Hey, it's a lawyer's life for me. I'm gonna get that degree. Hey, it's a lawyer's life for me. I'll study and I'll pray all night. Finished up uni, the skill he had shown. Now it was time to move out on his own. Head up to Narrabri, set up a home. Only thing was, he felt so alone until he ran into the belle of the ball. This girl was gorgeous, she did have it all. Head over heels, Greggy did fall. Lucky for Greg, he'd answered the call. And so, together they went on some dates. And so, together they became great mates. Perfect together, like it was fate. And so, together they moved to the States. And so, together they moved to the States. Greg won a scholarship, says he was great. When they got married, they just couldn't wait. But Berkeley was calling, they couldn't be late. Hey, it's a lawyer's life for me. I'm gonna get got that degree. Hey, it's a lawyer's life for me. Here at Sydney Uni. Hey, it's a lawyer's life for me. And my next stop is Berkeley. Off to Berkeley they went, where they stayed for a year. They learned all about the US and taught the Yanks about beer. This one time they took a trip out to Disneyland, where a man stole a bag right out of Bridget's hand. Greg didn't see he was buying a burger. So young Bridget chased him and she screamed bloody murder. She scared him so much that he dropped the bag. When Greg returned, she told him the drama she'd had. It was reasons like this that they made a good team. Where Bid chased the robber, Greg would have just screamed.
When they returned back to Oz, they settled in Sid and started to pop out some cute little kids. First came Lizzie, followed by Jess. I think they wish they stopped because they say I'm a pest. 3 daughters for Greg, only women in his world. Lucky he's such a great dad for girls.
He's a great dad for girls. A great dad for girls. He's a great dad for girls. He's a great dad for girls. He'll always give me a lift. And he loves Taylor Swift. Well, he won't cut my hair, but he shows me he cares. He'll never tell me what to wear, but he'll always be there. 'Cause he's a great dad for girls. Really? He's a great dad for girls. As the girls grew up, well, so did Greg. He didn't always use his brain, and I know that he'll beg that I don't tell this story, but it's too good not to share. When Greg allowed a prison break from Bupa aged care. He'd been out at the nursing home, visiting his mum and dad. Held the door to the exit, an old woman looked glad. Greg smiled as he left. I'm such a good guy, holding the door for that visiting wife. But as he drove off, the fear, it set in. Sweet Jesus, my God, I've done a terrible thing. She wasn't a visitor. That's why she looked hesitant. Greg had just busted out one of the residents. He circled the streets and he found her in 10. Got her in the car and returned her again. When he got back, they'd called 000. Nurses, they hugged him and called him a hero. I'm not a hero, Greg said, looking sly.
No.
Hero's too big a word. I'm just a really good guy.
So thanks to this legend for getting it right. Despite that last story, you're a really good guy. We're all lucky to know you, to call you a father, husband and friend. And I know what you're all asking. How does Greg Mcnally, the musical, end?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great 7 minutes up here. And we've got an absolute treat for you. You can't stop the aging process, it happens every year. And you might have lost the hair on your